What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and you're watching our ACC football channel. In our 2019 college football schedule previews continue with the Duke Blue Devils. Had a very good season last year, going 8-5, winning a bowl game. They were even in the top 25 at one point during the season, and just put NFL are about to send Daniel Jones, their quarterback, to the NFL. Don't know for sure where he's going to get drafted, but we assume he is going to get drafted pretty early in the NFL draft. He's gone, though. Quentin Harris figures to take over at quarterback if they don't get a transfer quarterback from somewhere else. They lose 3 receivers, and really just across the board. They lose a couple of tight ends, lose on the offensive line, the defensive line, linebacker, secondary. They lose a little bit kind of everywhere, but they don't lose too much. I think this will be a good football team. I don't think they will compete for a division championship. I think there are just too many teams that are going to be maybe a little bit better than them in the ACC. If they get a great quarterback, maybe they could compete in the division, but I think it'll be a down year a little bit for Duke. And the schedule doesn't help that out because they play Alabama and Notre Dame in the non-conference. I don't know if anyone has 2 non-conference games tougher than that. That's brutal. Perhaps there's someone out there that I'm not thinking of, but very tough games. 2 top 10 teams, again, Alabama and Notre Dame. They get North Carolina A&T, Middle Tennessee on the road, Virginia Tech on the road, Pittsburgh and Georgia Tech at home, Virginia on the road at North Carolina. Again, talked about Notre Dame, Syracuse at Wake Forest and Miami. So you look at the schedule, and it's pretty tough for a team like Duke. Yes, you've got North Carolina A&T and you've got Middle Tennessee on there, but look at the rest of the schedule. Is there anyone else you say that you would say that, okay, Duke is definitely going to win that game? They should. I mean, I feel really confident that Duke's going to win that game. And it's really tough to find any of those games outside of the 2 that I just mentioned. I think they do beat North Carolina A&T fairly easily, and I think they beat Middle Tennessee as well. That game will be on the road, but they're sort of a mid-level group of 5 team. I would expect Duke to be able to win that game without too much trouble. Might be a fairly close game, but I don't think it'll be a 1-possession game. I don't think it'll be a blowout, but yeah, I think Duke wins that game. And now you have to look at the games that I think they're going to lose. I don't see them with any chance against Alabama. They're not beating Alabama, and I don't really see them with any chance of beating Notre Dame. So that's 2 losses. You've got 2 wins, 2 losses, and that brings the season down to really 8 games. You win half of those 8 games, you go to a bowl game. You win all of those 8 games, and you have a great season, go 10-2. That's probably not going to happen. And that is not my best case scenario, but just saying, looking at the schedule, Georgia Tech is a team that's going through a transition year. You might could get a win there. Syracuse, new quarterback, maybe you get a win there. North Carolina is going to be better. That game's on the road, could be tough. Again, you start looking at the schedule and you start saying, Duke might not win that game. They might win that game, probably not. And as you go through the schedule, it becomes really difficult to find them getting past 5, maybe 6, 7 wins. Something like that is about what you would figure for this Duke team. I think best case scenario is that they beat Pitt, they beat Georgia Tech, they win those games at home, Syracuse at home, that gets you to 5 wins. And then you maybe find a way to win another couple of games. Maybe North Carolina, maybe Wake Forest on the road, maybe Miami at home. So I think 7 wins is really about as good as you're going to do if you're Duke. That would match their regular season win total from last season. But on the flip side, I think worst case scenario, it could be about 4 wins. And I think that is very possible with this schedule. Again, Georgia Tech is a game that they might be favored in. Other than that, are they really going to be favored in any of these other games? Probably not. We don't know exactly where these teams are going to be at the time. They might be favored against North Carolina. But I think maybe you get the win over Georgia Tech, get another win at least, and get to 4 wins. But that is, again, the worst case scenario, in my opinion, for Duke. David Cutcliffe, one of the best coaches really in the country. He's great at developing these players and the quarterback position as well. So I have some faith that they might can get to a bowl game, but at the same time, with the schedule, I think it's going to be tough. You've only got 2 easy wins on here, so that means you've got to win 4 out of the rest of these 8 games, half of them, which I think might be a little bit too much to ask for this Duke team. We'll see how they look after the spring, see if they maybe get a transfer quarterback or any new additions to the roster. But as it stands right now, I think it's going to be a struggle for Duke to get to a bowl game. I think they finish anywhere from 4 to 7 wins. I do think it's a little more likely that they finish with 5 wins than it is that they finish with 6. So I'm kind of thinking about 5 and 7 right now, maybe 6 and 6, but we'll see. I won't make my predictions until the summer. We'll have a lot more time to evaluate these teams and really look into the rosters and what they have. Thank you for watching this video. If you are an ACC football fan, please subscribe to the channel. Leave us your thoughts down in the comments below. And for the latest in ACC football, keep it right here